The Brian and Kenzie Show.
On Q101.
Brian and Kenzie on Q101. And we're talking about, my now being an honorary Mexican, thanks to Jose in Carpentersville. Honorary Latino.
Honorary Latino.
Yeah, not necessarily Mexican. It could be anything. Double features mic check tonight. I took French in high school, which was the dumbest thing ever because I never used it and it was hard. And he says he took that because that's where all the girls were in French class.
Oh, yeah.
The problem was, quick story before we get to sports. I was asked to leave my French class by the teacher.
What'd you do?
I was disrupting the class.
Well, that sounds right.
It's exactly.
That sounds like something you would do.
That's how I ended up here.
Are you mad that your French teacher did their job?
She actually told me, you imagine the lawsuit today? She told me if I leave the class, she'll pass me. I was failing.
God, you must have been so difficult to be around.
If there was social media when I was in high school, I would have been that victim. I could have played that victim role.
Oh, you could have done a TikTok as you were getting kicked out of the classroom.
Yeah, so she asked me to leave the class, and she gave me a passing grade for that. What's wrong with the school system? But I took the deal because I wanted to be eligible for basketball. So I took the deal and never said a word about it until today.
Wow.
How about that?
Somebody texted on the text line and said that they took French and have been to France, and they still wish they took Spanish.
Oh, God. Don't take French, people. It's dumb.
Problem is, I took Spanish, but I took Spanish in Indiana, where there's no Hispanic people.
Not only that, I just feel like they taught you wrong.
Dude, I don't know a word. I took Spanish for 3 years in high school. I don't know a word.
Okay, listen, I'm not trying to destroy our text line right now and blow it up where it crashes, but I'd like every Hispanic person in Indiana to text in to say there are Hispanic people in Indiana. And I will do a count.
The problem is that, like, my first Spanish teacher, here's how you know you're in a bad Spanish class. My first Spanish teacher, his first name was Jeremy. You can't learn Spanish from a guy named Jeremy.
That's also, isn't that a punk band? You can't, they're playing Riot Fest?
Oh, yeah.
You can't learn Spanish from a guy named Jeremy. My French teacher was Mrs. Steffen.
Okay.
I don't
like Stephen Marbury?
She was from Ohio,
Okay,
but I
yeah.
mean, I guess she knew French. Okay, we'll do a count at the end of sports. We'll give it to you at least where we're at. Of if you're a Hispanic person living in Indiana, text in 312-591-8300.
You're not going to get put on like a watch
No,
list.
no.
This seems like a trap.
This is a safe place. This is very safe.
The Q101 Morning Crew. Sports.
Well, while you slept, the Cubs playing out west, they were up 8-0 in the sixth. And you know where this is going. The Padres had a 7-run inning and then 2 more in the eighth to win 9-8. That sounds like the old Cubs a couple years ago.
That's right. That's exactly
Doesn't
that.
sound like the Cubs we have right now. That's the biggest comeback in franchise history for the Padres, by the way. Fernando Tatis Jr. hit the go-ahead homer, and he should be on the White Sox right now.
Well, yeah, that sucks.
Really? So how did you, as a White Sox fan, how'd your guys lose him?
We traded Fernando Tatis Jr. for James Shields, big game James. And Tatis wasn't like a super highly ranked prospect in the White Sox organization, but Shields was an old aging pitcher who was not any good for us. And then a year after the trade, the Padres were like, do you know about this Fernando Tatis Jr. guy?
Yeah.
He's awesome.
He's amazing.
We just got him.
Yeah.
This is awesome.
I remember seeing him in the All-Star game like 2 years ago. He's incredible in the home run derby and all that.
Yeah, no, he's a good guy.
Yeah, it's too bad. One more.
I agree.
One more swing and a miss for the White
it's
Sox.
not like we made another trade with the Padres recently or anything. Not like Dylan Cease is there now.
Cubs will do it again at the Padres tonight, late baseball. And speaking of the White Sox Guardians game in Cleveland was delayed an hour for, quote, the total eclipse in the park.
Did you see that?
Yeah. The White Sox players were out there with the glasses on. How'd they get glasses? They got them.
Everybody was there but the White Sox manager, who when asked, hey, are you going to watch the total eclipse? It's coming over the place you're at now. He said, no, there's baseball to play. I would lie if I was the White Sox manager.
Also, they delayed the game an hour just so you could lose 4-0. I mean, come on. We're not going to think you're a bad manager if you say I want to watch the eclipse. There's other reasons to think you're a bad manager.
I sometimes deal with people where it's like they're not doing what I ask of them, and then I hear like, oh, they're trying so hard. Don't tell me that. Tell me they're screwing around, that they can take things more seriously. The last thing I want from the White Sox manager is for him to claim that he's so locked in on baseball that he can't enjoy the eclipse. That's not comforting because we still lost 4-0.
He thinks he's sending a good message to the people above him that hired him, but instead they're going like, whoa, this is the best you can do. I mean, they're off to their second worst start in history. They were founded, as the Sioux City Cornhuskers in 1894, the White Sox were. So it's going back to that. as the worst start when they were the Sioux City Cornhuskers.
That really took me a second to process.
Yeah, the Sioux City Cornhuskers. For a minute, I thought that might have been a name that got canceled, but I guess not. Sioux City Cornhuskers. That's all fine.
No, that's what part of that is the problem?
I don't know. I'm just sensitive today. I'm thinking of these things.
Sioux City's not a slur.
That's a city. It still exists. Okay.
It's not a slur. It's a city.
Is a Cornhusker okay?
A Cornhusker?
Husker.
I would think so.
I'm afraid I said something. I'm going to get canceled later on.
I can't wait. I hope this is the thing that takes you down, finally.
Well, he's a Cornhusker. So, also sad for the state of Indiana. Purdue lost after a great first half. I stayed up to watch this game almost till 11. Why? I have no freaking idea. Because the first half was so good, and Zach Edey was amazing. But it just wasn't in the cards again for Purdue to get their first ever title.
It is a UConn coronation. The Huskies make history. Back-to-back national champions. Number one lives up to the billing. They defeat Purdue 75-60.
Well, the band didn't waste any time getting in.
Well, yeah, what are they supposed to do? Wait?
I don't know.
No, it's the theme song. Play the song.
I guess I was right there, right on time. So Zach Edey had 37 points of the 60 that his team had. It turns out like one of the great point total getters in NCAA basketball history. Very mean meme going around that shows him he's an odd-looking guy, 7'4", like 300 pounds. And someone said, what would he do if he wasn't in basketball? And there was an answer to that saying, just wait 3 years. Wow. He will go to the NBA, but I don't know if he'll do great there or not. I mean, he was great last night. The rest of his team wasn't. UConn was too good. They had everybody.
It's a bizarre thing in basketball specifically where you have these incredible college basketball players who, for whatever reason, just do not translate to the NBA. And Zach Edey, the big man for Purdue, who was the best player in college basketball this last year, won't be the number 1 pick, won't be a top 5 pick, might not even be a top 10 pick. And it's so odd that he might not make it in the NBA.
There's got to be somebody that wants him, wants a big, wants a 7'4".
I'm sure the Bulls would love him.
Yeah. We need to start over with everybody but Kobe White.
I know, but the problem is we're wheeling out Andre Drummond as our big right now.
I know.
I'm all for replacing him with Zach Edey.
Iowa versus South Carolina, the women's national championship set a women's NCAA record for TV viewership. Expected 24 million viewers at one point. That's insane. I watched all of it. I loved every minute of it, and I'm going to miss Caitlin Clark playing in the WNBA because I got to admit, I don't know if I'll watch it. I haven't watched many WNBA games. They don't have a vibe to me. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I want them to have a vibe.
It's a poor atmosphere.
Yeah, I don't think they've done a good job of selling it to me.
Well, they've got another chance.
They got another chance.
This next year that the WNBA can be more Brian-friendly.
That'd be nice.
I know that's their goal.
Listen, I'm ready to go. I've got money to spend.
Are you going to go see a Chicago Sky game next year when Caitlin Clark comes to town?
So I've never seen one.
Yeah.
And I'm going to go.
That's what you should do.
It's kind of like a Messi game in a way. Mm-hmm. I wonder if the tickets will be really high.
I bet they will be.
So, like with my Eclipse classes, should I get a ticket now? Is the schedule out?
I know season tickets are available. I don't know. You should be a season ticket holder. You're a girl dad now. You got to support women.
I am, and I love it. I just don't think I can go. I haven't been to I've been to no Bulls games yet this year. How am I going to do a WNBA game? No, I've been to a Bulls game. I'm sorry. I went to the Sixers Bulls game 2 days before New Year's Eve.
Okay, so one Bulls game, you can make one Chicago Sky game.
I'll try. I don't know. You got the count for Hispanics in Indiana yet here?
We've got a lot.
Okay.
It's good. It's good.
You thought there were none.
No, I'm seeing a lot of different people check in, a lot of Hispanics in Hammond, Indiana. If you're just joining us, by the way, let me contextualize this real quick. That I don't know any Spanish despite taking 3 years of Spanish classes because I learned Spanish in Indiana. There's not a lot of...
You were in the mid-state, though. You were in Indianapolis area.
I was in the middle of Indiana. Yeah. I had all white Spanish teachers, which was concerning. But I'm seeing a lot of different people check in. What I didn't know is that in Lake County, Indiana, there's actually a part of town called Little Mexico because it's all Mexicans. They even ride their horses in the streets.
Well...
That's a party.
I'm moving there.
Exactly. I bet that'd be a good place for you.
That's Ryan from Lake Station. Thanks for checking in. I'm Mexican from Lake County, Indiana. We'll just make him the representative right now because we can't go. There's a lot of texts.
There's a lot of texts. It's good to see.
Yeah, it's very good to see.
So if anybody wants to teach me Spanish, let me know.
No, that'd be a video for the internet.
We should take Spanish lessons together.
I need it. I do. I want it. I want to learn. I want to learn that because I learned French and that was the dumbest decision of my life.
But do you remember any French either?
I used to say, je ne sais pas.
What is that?
It means I don't know.
The Brian and Kenzie Show.
On Q101.
Brian and Kenzie on Q101. Remember, we're doing a Clash with Kenzie at 8:10 this week. It'll return to 7:10 next week, but at 8:10 we're doing it for Glass Animals tickets, so an hour away from that. And let's see here. With the whole eclipse thing that happened yesterday, that big eclipse, that whole thing went down. There's a lot of people posting their reactions to the total eclipse, a lot of weather reporters. Tom Skilling, of course, had the best one ever in 2017, and even yesterday, I've been crying. This is a woman, Stephanie Abrams, I believe her name is. Stephanie Abrams from the Weather Channel. Very attractive woman. And
Seems unrelated.
I'm just trying to set the tone.
Okay.
Set the picture. I can set the picture of the eclipse covering the sun, but I can't talk about a woman. I'm a bad guy for that. See, the moon covered up the sun.
You just got belligerent. I don't know what's going on now.
4 minutes. I mean, even in Chicago, the temperature dropped 4 seconds. I talked about up on the north side, our streetlights went on and birds stopped chirping. It was amazing. But here's her reaction to the total eclipse. She was in Fredericksburg, Texas. Really nice reaction.
It just got really dark. We are close. Really dark. How amazing is that? The darkness. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2,
Here it comes.
1. Totality. We're in it, and we're behind a cloud. But I still want you to appreciate the darkness that we are experiencing. And by the way, our temperature has dropped. We're down to 72 degrees. I can even see a blue spot right there. Come on. We've got 4 minutes. The crowd is willing it. Just for a minute, just for a second. But I'll take it. I will take it. Look at it. Oh my God. We got it. We got it.
See, now do you see why I said she was attractive before I played the audio?
I just wish she was announcing Cubs games now. She sounds awesome
Holy
doing that.
crap.
Imagine her on a home run call.
Again, that's Stephanie Abrams from the Weather Channel. Once again, here's a little part of her clip here. Let this. She really goes for it.
The crowd is willing it. Just for a minute, just for a second. But I'll take it. I will take it. Look at it. Oh my God. We got it. We got it. Look at it.
What else do you think she gets excited about?
I think only this. She was bottling up excitement for her entire life.
Oh, it was so honest and authentic and good.
That's good stuff.
Yeah, great stuff there. I kind of went like, cool, to Megan, and she wasn't, I didn't do that to the partial eclipse. I guess you don't get that partial.
Oh, you weren't like jazzed about it?
No, I was personally, but it's kind of like maybe like foreplay that goes wrong.
How does foreplay go wrong?
Like, it's good. I think, oh, okay. And I've seen it enough now. I don't need the glasses anymore.
I don't know, Brian. I can't relate.
Oh, I guess so.
The Brian and Kenzie Show.
On Q101.
The Brian and Kenzie Show.
On Q101.
Well, it's time for Head to Headlines. This is when you choose the content of the show based on the headline alone. We give you 2 of them, and then you decide what story you want us to chop up on the air. The other story, we'll never talk about again. So this is very serious. You have to think carefully on the headline what story you want to dive into more and hear more about. So let's get to it. You text in 312-591-8300, headline number 1 or headline number 2. Headline number 1. Guy finds grenade in his house while cleaning his home, so naturally he took it to the police station so they could help him get rid of it.
Well, naturally.
It didn't end well. That's the entire headline. It's a long one.
Headline.
It's a long headline. It tells a lot, I guess. But that's headline number 1 if you want to hear more about that story. Headline number 2 is this. Bus driver fired after stopping bus full of students on train tracks as freight train approaches. Oh,
No,
God.
I'm assuming this is in there because everybody ended up okay.
Don't know. Can't give you more details until you pick the headline. That's what the fun of this is. So 312-591-8300. I mean, it's not fun if somebody died, obviously.
I guess that's the risk we have to be willing to take.
This is how you go on this journey with us as a listener and choose the content of the show. We'll never talk about the other story again. Real quick, one more time. Headline number 1. Guy finds grenade in his house while cleaning his home, so naturally he took it to the police station so they could help him get rid of it. This didn't end well. At headline number 2, bus driver fired after stopping bus full of students on train tracks as freight train approaches.
I got to hear more.
Well,
I don't have a vote, but man, headline number 2, that's good stuff.
You guys choose what you want. We do whatever you want. We never talk about the other story again. So chime in. Text in headline number 1 or headline number 2. 312-591-8300. Brian and Kenzie on Q101.
Brian and Kenzie in the morning. And Chicago's alternative all day.
Q101.
It's Brian and Kenzie on Q101. Head to headlines. You decide the content of the show right now at 312-591-8300, which story you want to hear more about. And headline number 1, we'll give you the results in a second here. You can still text in, but headline number 1 was, guy finds grenade in his house while cleaning his home, so naturally he took it to the police station so they could help him get rid of it. That didn't end well.
It's got to be a tough look showing up to a police station with a grenade in hand.
Headline number 2 is bus driver fired after stopping bus full of students on train tracks as freight train approaches.
That's another tough look.
I will tell you this, we have bonus audio on that one too.
Wow.
We have audio of what happened. We'll play that somewhere in the story because it did win headline number 2. I just want to say one thing. I say we won't ever talk about the other story again, but part of the quote is, Michigan State Police, don't touch bombs. That's a quote from them.
I would agree.
Yeah, they're probably right on that. But we're never going to hear about that story because you guys wanted to hear, the majority of you wanted to hear, bus driver fired after stopping bus full of students on train tracks as freight train approaches. Here we go. Synergy Magnet K-12 Academy in Fort Pierce tells WPTV bus driver was fired after a 48-hour internal investigation. That's based on the headline alone.
That's a pretty short internal investigation.
Still took 2 days. He stopped on train tracks. I mean...
That probably could have been answered with one question. You're right. Hey, so did he stop on train tracks? Yeah, all right. Well, I think we're done here.
I think we're okay. It's Grandpa Simpson putting his hat on.
Well, I've got all the info I need.
So Fort Pierce is in Florida, and a bus driver at a private school in Fort Pierce has been fired after several parents said he stopped a bus full of students on the train tracks as the freight train was approaching. We made that pretty clear here. The incident was reported to school on Monday. It was rough. 9th grade student Madison Corey said. Yeah.
I would think so.
Corey told the TV station there what happened as another freight train passed by the school. So she's talking about it, and another freight train comes right by. Why'd they build this school here?
It seems like they built the school on the tracks.
Yeah. I can remember a sidebar here. I went to Bowling Green State University for college. Mm-hmm. And the university, like a lot of college towns, the university has a bar area, right? There's a bunch of bars over here. There were train tracks in between the campus and the bars.
That seems ill-advised.
And it's a farm town, so the trains didn't slow down there. They went like 60 miles an hour. And people were getting wasted and then walking back. And it's not a funny thing to say, but sadly, like somebody got clipped every year. Somebody you just hear it in the little student newspaper.
Do you think they had like, and this will sound cold, but politicians have the thoughts and prayers template already printed out in their office?
Yes.
Do you think Bowling Green State was like, well, get the train document. We got another one.
Where's that at?
Can I say real quick about bus drivers? Can we talk about the school bus just real second, for a second?
Let's go ahead. We got time.
That's a hard job, man.
Oh, yeah.
Being a bus driver, especially for elementary or middle school kids, they're not wearing seatbelts.
Yeah, do they have them now?
No.
They still don't have seatbelts?
Not. The last time I was on a school bus was probably 2015.
Well, thank God. It's good. It's good to know.
So unless there's been a giant change over the last decade, buses don't have seatbelts. Kids are monsters. Buses are hard to drive. They're a weird shape. It's got to be the hardest job in the world.
Now,
I know we have bus drivers that listen. I know City, the bus driver, always checks in.
Yeah.
It just seems impossible to do anything right.
You don't have any family history in this. You're just judging as a student that probably was the one that sat quietly on the bus.
I don't come from a lineage of bus drivers, no.
That's a shame.
You?
No.
Okay.
No, I don't think so. I have to go back on like Ancestry.com to try to find a bus driver in there somewhere, but I don't think so. If there's bus drivers that want to check in, you gladly can at 312-591-8300. So back to this terrifying story. Corey said, it brings back memories every time I see the train go by at school. That could have been me that got hit by the train. So again, the train is right by the school. They just went to a part where the guy stopped the bus on the tracks and a freight train was coming. She has PTSD, like a Vietnam vet.
Just like that.
Or an Iraqi vet or an Afghanistan vet.
Pick a war. Any war.
Or a Ukrainian vet. Corey said her bus driver dropped off the younger kids at the Synergy Magnet K-12 campus Monday morning and was heading to the older student campus off the U.S. Highway 1 when the bus driver suddenly stopped on the tracks at the crossing of Edwards Road.
Why did he stop on the tracks? That's what I'm missing here.
I guess we'll have to wait and see what happened. This might be a good time to play the audio of what happened when they were on the tracks.
Quiet! Could have been me that got hit by that.
We had one student that we were talking to. She had headphones in, and she looked around when everyone was screaming to get the bus driver to move, and she seen the train coming. She put the headphones back in, and she put her head down expecting to die.
At that point, a lot of us were expecting to die.
Holy cow. Terrifying.
That's absolutely awful.
It's really awful. It doesn't say why he stopped yet. We'll see if we get there. But he stopped on the tracks, and that's the audio at 8:20 a.m. when the bus briefly stopped. Also, I think he yells quiet to the kids. Quiet! Dude, you're on the tracks and the train's coming.
Well, he's got to focus.
I understand.
They're making it really hard for him to do his job. That's why he stopped.
It does not say why he stopped on the track so far.
You got to think they must have done something, all right?
So, the kids?
Yeah.
Is he trying to scare them?
I think so.
Well, the kids are little gang members, you know. At the same time, the sound of the crossing arms can be heard coming down while he was on the tracks. You can hear that in the audio. It's kind of hard to hear because the kids are screaming for their
Well, you need
lives.
to quiet down.
Yeah, quiet down. Shortly afterward, the bus abruptly stops and the crossing arm hits the top of the bus. Students start screaming. That's when they were screaming for the bus driver to move. The bus driver yells for everybody to be quiet and continues driving the bus off the tracks. The bus was stopped for 20 seconds with a freight train coming. That must have felt like a lifetime.
Yeah.
20 seconds and seeing a train coming towards you.
Do you think he was trying to film a stunt video? He was like, this is going to look awesome on my mixtape.
I can't wait till Barstool reposts this.
I'm going to get out of this town. Everybody watch.
I'll get a whole slew of new TikTok followers. This will be great. So the girl, now back to the girl that was on the bus, Corey said she called her parents, who then contacted the school to report what happened. She ratted him out.
That's a shame.
She should at that point. They were all expecting to die, she said. And according to screenshots provided by the parents, the school replied with a text, "We will notify transportation immediately to do an investigation." Now, we already found out that was a 48-hour investigation. Samantha Hansen said all the parents received that message, and the bus driver no longer worked for the school. The picture of this guy is pretty awesome.
What does he look like? Does he look like a guy that would stop a school bus on train tracks?
He actually does. He's got sunglasses on. He got a good length beard. I could be wrong, but he's got possibly a couple. Does he have sunglasses on and another pair on his head? His head's kind of cut off in the picture, so I can't tell if he's wearing like Oakley's up top, you know.
He's wearing double sunglasses.
And some Ray-Bans down low.
That's the kind of guy that's driving your children to school. Like, Brett, I don't even know if you've ever thought about that, but when your daughter is of age to take the school bus, you're going to be a disaster. Because you got a guy wearing two pairs of sunglasses dictating her safety.
I'm going to be a drone parent.
You already are.
I already am, but like I didn't want daycare to let Harper out yesterday during the eclipse, and thankfully they were in the right mode and already knew that, but I wanted to make sure they knew it. Maybe me sound psycho.
I'm a little surprised we don't have more bus drivers freaking out constantly, because like 847 checked in and he said that he's a middle school dean. He says, quote, "The bus is a hellscape and my bus drivers are saints. TikTok challenges have made their job so much worse."
Oh.
Did you misbehave on the bus? Because every school has those kids that they might even act fine in normal school, but when they get on the bus, they're little demons.
I kind of sat back and watched the chaos. And I would egg other people on to do more chaos.
Yeah.
I was kind of like the director of the chaos.
Stalin-esque, if you will.
I was always too afraid to get in trouble because my dad was a maniac, but I liked watching other people do bad things.
Do you remember anything bad that happened on your bus?
I remember a kid threw a basketball out the window.
What a kid thing to do.
Well, it was hard. We bet him he couldn't get it out because those windows go half down. And he bent the frame and he pushed it through and it went in the oncoming traffic. It's not funny. It's not funny.
But man, you can so see in a child's mind the escalation of that story.
God. It was like somebody could have died because they hit the basketball hit your windshield and you freak out. And
It's not a bird. What are you going to do when Spalding comes across your windshield?
Oh, God. Whew. That was a good memory. Thanks for bringing that back.
That's such a kid thing to do. That's so funny.
Yeah. So back to the story. We have a little more to go here. So the parents received a text message saying the guy was fired. She said, I'm so horrified not only about what happened on the tracks, but by the school for not contacting the parents to let them know what happened to our children that morning. It wasn't until that student, Corey, ratted him out, and then they got the text message. So no one knew until that happened. Corey's parents filed a report with the St. Lucie County Sheriff's Office. Her father, they met with a detective, and she's been withdrawn from school. She got the hell out of there.
I would hope so.
Well, it's the bus driver, not the school. I mean, but I know the school's responsible for everything overlooking. I don't know. The school might be a fine school.
I don't know.
I
feel like they employed this guy. That's probably a black mark against them.
Yeah. Now, the girl went on and said, he did let us off the bus a lot. He broke a lot of rules. This is, of course, previously. He would stop at Wendy's or gas stations if we had to go to the bathroom and let us off the bus, and had 2 middle schoolers get off the bus to get him a soda at a gas station. No, that's not so bad, is it?
No, Brian, it's really bad.
Okay, you can't do that. They got to be locked on the bus till home or school.
Yes.
But you want a Baconator.
Yeah, but I don't want a Baconator with, like, kids in junior high around me. A Baconator's a solo activity.
But I'm picturing Otto from The Simpsons. And he'll like, Otto, I want a Baconator. And he goes, I got you. I remember that line. He goes, my name is Otto, and I like to get blotto. But if I want a Baconator, I would think that bus driver is the coolest guy ever if he let me get off or go to Wendy's.
Yeah, but that's a problem.
I understand now. As a parent, I understand now.
No child should be that comfortable around their bus driver where they want to get a Baconator with them.
Yeah,
that's how documentaries get filmed.
The Synergy Magnet official said if they had no idea he ever made additional stops or did those things, he would have been fired before this incident. And there never would have been a train coming at the bus incident when it was on the tracks.
Now, there's people on the text line. 630 just checked in and said buses are always supposed to stop at train crossings and the kids are supposed to shut up so the driver can listen. I understand that. I feel like they're supposed to stop at train crossings, not on train tracks.
Yeah, they stop before it.
Yeah.
You don't stop on the tracks.
They stopped on it. That is the trouble. That is the troubling part of all this.
Well, he's not completely wrong there because I remember as a kid, the bus driver would stop and then open his door and look out. But I guess he wasn't on the tracks. He was before it to see if
look out to see if a train's coming?
Yeah, because those things can make mistakes, those arms.
Yeah, but I feel like I would just keep on. Why would you stop to see if a train's coming? Just keep going.
Because it could be coming really fast and hit you.
But if you open your door to look at it, you won't have time to go.
But I'm saying he did it like right before. Like maybe the engine was on the tracks, but not the whole train.
This is troubling. Don't do this.
Okay, I don't know. If there's any bus drivers out there who want to explain the situation, maybe, I'm not defend him, but just to see what happened here, if the story's getting it completely wrong, I don't know. We'll get there. Well, that's the end of it. There you go. You chose it. Head to headlines, the content that you choose every day. It's Brian and Kenzie on Q101.
Brian and Kenzie in the morning. And Chicago's alternative all day.
Q101.
Brian and Kenzie in the morning. And Chicago's alternative all day.
Q101.
Well, a reminder coming up just after 8 o'clock, we'll announce the winner of Piece of Garbage Madness. Q101's Piece of Garbage Madness, people and things that were pieces of garbage in the last year. There were 64 of them in a bracket, and the matchup's been going since last night. Tiffany Henyard, the Dalton Mayor, against inflation. That's a 1 overall seed, just like UConn, against a 3 seed surprise, inflation, that came in there. A lot of great upsets, a lot of Cinderella stories, but we'll have the final winner coming up just after 8 o'clock.
We've been talking about this for a month now, just like March Madness. It has been a really, really fun thing to bring back this year. I don't know the winner. I'm excited to find out.
Yeah, all the matchups were on our socials, on Facebook, on Instagram stories, and on Twitter. You can go back and see if you want to. Got to scroll down, get a little doom scroll going on and see how these matchups went, because it's pretty entertaining.
There's a lot of garbage in the last year.
A lot of garbage, including maybe this bus driver on next year's bracket.
It might have to be.
Who stopped the bus with kids on the tracks when a freight train was coming.
Quiet!
Love him. Not. So checking in with him. So people are calling in. I mentioned the story about I convinced the guy to throw a basketball out the bus window.
And why did you do that?
Just because I liked being the director of chaos and not being fully involved because I was too scared to get in trouble myself.
And people didn't believe that he could fit a basketball through a bus window, correct?
Yeah, and he bent the frame a little bit, then he got it through, and it bounced on the road. And hit like 7 cars, just bouncing, people are freaking out. Somebody could have died. I'm not proud of myself.
You're pretty good, though.
But, showed my power of persuasion even back then.
There you go.
Joe's checking in from Bloomingdale. Joe, what's up? Ahoy.
Ahoy.
Yeah, what's going on? What story you got?
Yeah, so I'm a teacher now, and so not proud, but I wasn't really involved in this anyways. So shout out to the golf team.
I'm sorry, your phone broke up again. Say it one more time. Your phone broke up?
Oh, sorry. Shout out to the Conant golf team, Conant High School. We were headed to practice, and some of the idiots decided that throwing golf balls out the window on Higgins was a good idea to see him bouncing along the road. Obviously, hit a couple. One jumped the median, and I think that's when they stopped because it hit an oncoming car.
Oh, no.
On the way back from practice, these same idiots decide to moon some people behind us. Well, the story goes that a woman is driving her husband to like a doctor's appointment when we're on the way to practice, and her car gets hit with a golf ball. Well, on the way back, she's behind us. So her husband, they follow us to the school before our coach can even open the door. He's on the, bus yelling, "I saw white buns. My wife saw white buns." So, yeah, our top 3 golfers definitely got suspended for 2 weeks.
I saw white buns.
Oh, that's
that was it. There might have been hairy in there, too, but yeah, I'm not quite sure what adjectives. But
No black guys on the golf team, apparently. I didn't see any black.
Yeah, well.
I didn't see any black buns. Just saw white buns. I saw black hairy buns, white hairy buns. Oh, Lord. Wow. Now, you didn't moon, though? You can tell me the truth.
No, I was kind of a goody-goody in high school, so I was kind of hiding my head, making sure I wasn't associated with that. But I appreciated it because the top 5 golfers got suspended for 2 meets, and I was right on the bubble, so I got in for 2 meets.
You were Tiger Woods for the team for just a minute.
That's right.
Oh, that's great. I guess you don't want to say where you teach now, huh?
Actually, shout out to the Elgin Mental Health Center for the criminally insane.
Okay. All right.
There you go.
Doing God's work.
There you go.
There you go. Something like that.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for that story. That's a great one. Thanks for checking in. And our regular crew member, Dakota, checking in also. Apparently, she knows some bus rules about what goes on. Is your family have a long line of bus drivers, Dakota?
Wish I could say a long line, but my grandmother was a bus driver out in Oregon.
Okay.
And it is a thing where, yes, you are legally supposed to stop before the tracks, not on the track. And you're supposed to open up the door so that you can actually see further on the one direction, and then also look out your bus driver window, check the other way, open the door so that you can hear if there are any, any of the bells going down the tracks or anything.
Like a freight train coming your way, basically.
The Brian and Kenzie Show.
On Q 101.